I'm live. Hello, everybody. It's me, Carmine DeStefano, the Bookman, your Bookman. And I'm here because it's Friday. I wanted to do this every week. I wanted to have Friday live streams. I asked some of my friends to maybe come on. We'll do some sort of collaboration or collab, if you will. But the thing that really inspired this week's brand of topic of conversation is that once more, I've hit the ceiling here. Now, when I first made this particular channel, the reason I did it was because I wanted to help people. That's really been my only motivation for anything I do, is to help everybody, to give everyone a better sense of culture, entertainment, the difference between arts and entertainment, which seems to be lost in this whole social media scenario, this whatever you want to call it, biosphere. And really, the reason is because, well, it's very simple. We're going to get to that in just a minute. I also wanted to promote myself because I write novels. I was writing screenplays and everything, which I may get back into one of these days. And I'm still writing novels. They're on Kindle Publish and what have you. But it was mostly to get popular. Now, my friend and I, years and years ago, had ideas for social networks. And it was at the time when Facebook was first becoming popular. This was becoming popular. And one of the ideas I had was a platform like this, a video hosting site that gave the people who were the smaller channels more of an opportunity than the ones that really need it, or don't need it, I should say. It's like when you go on Kick, and I thought I was getting the inside scoop since I'm typically late to the party when it comes to the stuff. And when I started going on there, I realized there were people that had 30, 40,000 subscribers or followers already, and they were all watching them play casino games and whatever. And I'm going, but wasn't this new? How were you able to get that? And it turns out that the reason is because it's the same thing, the same old story. It's the United States. It's neoliberal capitalism. It's you get whatever you can pay for. And that's one of the reasons why movies, really, when you think about it, I've been saying this for a while. The United States cinema, the more I studied the art of motion pictures, the United States has never really been good at it. What the United States is it's an English colony that thinks it's a country, and it always looks at what Europe is doing and goes, oh, we got to do that as fast as possible. So when Hollywood was really established, they wanted to do that in New York, but nobody in New York was really going along for the ride. So they decided to move to California, where it was pretty much the Wild West still at that point. And they made themselves studios and whatever, and pretty much built a city around that ideal. But in order to get people's asses in the seats, which is all the United States really cares about, it's the overall analytics. The way they did it was they gave you books turned into movies. They gave you old classic horror radio shorts turned into movies. They just gave you titles and then actors and actresses you'd recognize to play the roles of the characters in those titles. Very creative. And a lot of it is too much talking. A lot of it is too much telling you what to look at, what to understand, what to feel, and all this other stuff. But that's really what the United States is all about. It's all about making money. And when it comes to social media, I've been doing this for 16 years, 13 on my gaming channel. And I've been posting videos on my gaming channel related to Civilization 7, which the big Civilization players are still bitching about it not being 6, and it's still not any good. They're making changes. The company Firaxis and 2K together are making changes based on what these spoiled little rich kids that own the internet are complaining about, and they're still not happy. So stop making changes for them, because I'm finding myself having a hard time figuring out what I'm supposed to be doing here after all these upgrades or updates or whatever that typically don't come day one on the Switch 2 anyway. But whatever the case, I've been posting videos on my gaming channel, and I've been doing live streams, and I'm doing this every day. And this was one of the things I heard: keep posting content, keep posting content. It's not posting videos, it's posting content. Okay, so I keep doing that. And YouTube, most of you won't really understand or know this, but when you're a small channel, because you're poor like me and you don't have hundreds of thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars to pay for staff and whatever else you have to pay for to get anywhere, you get to a point where you hit a ceiling. And YouTube, what they'll do is, whether these are bot subscribers or real ones, they'll just start taking subscribers away. So you'll hit a point. I hit 702, and this has happened a few times. This isn't just recently, but I hit 702 subscribers. So you'd think 702 people would get alerted to my videos. And instead, they added that bell thing so then you can get notifications and not really alerts. But I hit that point. People were watching my live streams. People were watching at least my Civilization 7 videos. And then, boom, next thing you know, I'm losing subscribers. I've lost 6 in this month alone. And when you have 702, that puts you down to 696. And then the views just gone. Gone. I don't see anybody watching my videos. One of my old friends from Twitch, which also, after becoming an affiliate, has stymied my growth there. He showed up. Nobody else is going on. And I can't help but think it's because you're not telling people I'm posting videos. And to prove that point, on this channel, I rarely, if ever, and I'm subscribed to my gaming channel, ever do I get any updates on whether or not I've posted my videos. So as I've said, when you have, even with this channel, 719 subscribers, no one is getting alerted to my videos. So when you have that concept where you go on your homepage and you see all these videos, all this content from people you're not interested in, and topics you may or may not have even showed any remote relation to wanting to know anything about. For me, it's like more bitching about wokeness, or it's anti-Nintendo stuff, or things I have no interest in. And God forbid you accidentally hover over one of these videos, you're going to get a million more alerts to these people. And these influencers post so much crap that it floods the airwaves. And then when you want to call them out on their BS, you can't find the old posts because they just keep swallowing up their own posts by their new ones, which they keep doing constantly. So it's quite the scam. It's garbage. So every time you go on your homepage, whoever it is that you watched a video from, if they're popular, they keep showing up, but not those that you subscribe to, which means subscribers are completely pointless. Everything that you do on YouTube is completely pointless. Followers on Twitch, completely pointless. It doesn't matter anymore because they keep changing the schematic. Now it's about the algorithm. And what does the algorithm tell you? Well, the people with the highest watch times, they're the ones that are going to get suggested. Well, how do you get watch times if nobody knows you're posting videos? So then the answer becomes, well, post good content. What's good content? Sitting in your room with all your toys behind you, talking about how the latest Marvel Cinematic Universe movie or game or whatever that the AAA company has produced has fat, ugly women or girl bosses, or counteracting that with moment-to-moment updates, personal updates on a video that you keep pausing in the middle of. What is good content? Now, listen, there are a lot of channels on this here forum, excuse me, that I can say with full confidence are informative. A lot of them are really, really good at telling you history, accurate information, data based on investigatory work that led to proof and everything. A lot of this stuff is quality, not even entertainment, but education. And I've been watching some things that have really alerted me to stuff that even I believed when I was a kid that has no relevance behind it at all. And it's changed my opinions and made them more about information, knowledge. And that I can't argue with, and that I truly appreciate. That's why I like when they show up on my homepages. But a lot of this other crap, I don't care about. It doesn't mean anything to me. Especially like, yeah, I'll click on somebody when the Yankees lose because I despise that sport now. I despise that team. Now, that was my obsession when I was a young man and a teenager, was the New York Yankees. And it wasn't just because they were winning the World Series, because that wasn't until I was a young adult. But it was just because I loved their history. I loved the winning mentality until George Steinbrenner bought them and screwed it all up. I loved everything about them, and now I fucking despise them because baseball's dead. Everything about sports, dead. They're not even rotten corpses anymore. They're barely even dust. I've said this before. They're not competitive. They're not professional. And above all, it's not at all intense, entertaining, or even fun. They make the games like baseball, basketball, and football look boring. And that was never, when I was growing up, that was never the case. So I do like to see when the Yankees lose, listening to the lament of these wannabe new Yankee fans. But other than that, I'm not subscribed to these channels. So why do they keep showing up? Because of watch hours. So now you have a system in place where people who can't get watch hours because you don't suggest them even to their own subscribers are losing out to people who are not subscribed to, but are constantly being offered to you specifically because they have watch hours. How the hell are you going to get watch hours? And as I said, the whole good content thing is a farce. I followed every single thing that YouTube has said to do, everything that Twitch has said to do, everything that people that are popular on these forums said to do. It comes down to how much money you're willing to spend. There was a post on one of these pages, a small YouTube channel page that popped up, and a lot of these people, small YouTube channel, I just got my 600,000 subscribers. You're not a small YouTube channel, but whatever. One of the questions they asked was, what would you do with $10,000 for your YouTube channel? I went, I don't even know what to do with $10,000. What private IQ? I have no idea. What are you paying for? Now, I do know that there's a person I used to work with who I've had visit my club recently. Well, I don't want to say my club. I don't own it. I just work there part-time. But the one that I work in. And he told me that he now is, I think he's the president or something of one of the top 3 online representative. I'm looking for a specific word, but whatever the case, promotional companies. That's the word. Jeez. And he's number 3, he said, in the city and everything. And he told me what they do is they give you 1 million BS subscribers. And once you become popular, they just take down their subscribers as you get the real ones. So do you pay for that? You have to pay for a staff. Ever since I started doing this, there was always that, hey, watch this video to get your channel popular, because people always tell you, just don't worry about being popular. Think about having a good time. Film what you do that you enjoy and everything. Bullshit. Everybody comes on here because they want to get popular. That's what it's here for. That's what they always told you when I started doing this years ago. Oh, this homeless guy or this houseless guy, as George Carlin would say, he's now the lead singer of Journey. Oh, this one, he's on the radio now. But they kept making you think that people that had this hidden talent somewhere were finally getting their stage. And I was drawn to it. That's the sales pitch. Then you get on there, and at first it looks like people are getting to know you, people are getting to subscribe to you and everything. I think I had 300 and some subscribers my first month here. Most of that came from my previous channel that I had before that, where I was doing a lot of impressions of movie scenes and reactionary videos based on what was in the newspaper. It did make me famous. One where I was talking about Miley Cyrus posing pretty much nude when she was 15. That got me 10 or 1,000 or more subscribers, whatever. But it wasn't until this channel when I thought I broke through. And I disguised myself as an old man and put myself right where Mila Kunis and Natalie Portman were about to make out in the Black Swan scene that was at that point really taboo, but yet incredibly famous. And that shit got almost 1 million views. 1 million. Okay? And I mean within the first few months. It exploded. I uploaded this 1.5 minute video. Then I checked to see right after it was finished uploading whether or not the thumbnail, because I didn't make my own thumbnails back then, whether or not the thumbnail was exactly what I wanted. And it was, and I noticed it already had 60-something views. But there's a stigma, you see. If you don't have thousands of subscribers, if you're not known as a popular channel or an influencer, everything you do is taken as either just a hapless, helpless attempt at getting subscribers or clickbait. What's up, guys? Oh, that is me. Thank you, sir. I am a goat. Thank you. Oh, you mean greatest of all time? Yeah, well, I am that too. Thank you for the like. Thank you for being here, man. I don't want to seem like I'm just going to preach to the sky. I do want to interact with you guys for a bit, but I am just talking about why I'm sick of this form. I'm just sick of YouTube. I'm sick of Twitter. I'm sick of all this shit. Just tired of it. It's got me to the point where I don't think about giving up, because I never give up, but I can understand why people do. So I had this video and it just absolutely blew up. But because I only had 400 and some subscribers at that point, nothing but negative commentary, nothing but thumbs down, nothing. Nobody got the joke. Nobody got it. Nobody got to the end and went, oh, he got me. Nobody got to the end and said, whoa, I wasn't expecting that. All I got was, yo, I was about to jerk off and you popped off. Yo, my mother said this, that, yo. There was just constant yammering and blabbering about their own personal issues, and I didn't want to hear anything about it. There were only 2 people that commented. You can watch the video. It's a minute and a half long. Look at the commentary. I even got reprimanded by a young woman recently about what I said was not proper or whatever. And I'm going, honey, this was done years ago, and it was a joke, okay? It was just to get popular. It had nothing to do with insulting anybody. It was a joke. Nobody did stuff like that before, I'll tell you that, because they're always like, oh, do something different. Well, that was pretty different, and it didn't matter. But like I said, I was looking at that, and I was saying, if only 10%, just 10% of you subscribed, if you said, oh, that was hilarious, or that was stupid, or whatever, but I'm going to give this guy a little bit of a subscription, I would have had 80,000 subscribers like that. So Gaius, whoever is here, you tell me why I was still stuck at 400 and whatever at that point. Nobody subscribed. I had another one, which was the scene from Chloe. Julianne Moore and my beloved Amanda Seyfried. 200,000+ views. Nothing positive. Then I did a video review of The Hall Pass. Guy, you know what that is, guys? The Hall Pass? It's a stupid comedy from 2010 when comedies were just about bodily fluids and old people saying things old people would never say, or older people saying things that they would never say. That stupid fucking, like, it should, I don't even want to describe it per se because I'm not popular enough or whatever. But that dumbass humor where people who you wouldn't expect to utilize certain catchphrases or whatever you want, vernacular, whatever you want to call it, do. It was just another dumbass movie. But I did point out that it had a nice plot. The movie sucked and was terrible at pointing that out, but it did have a nice plot about appreciating what you have. 200,000+ not subscribers, I wish, views, nothing but negativity. And it just goes to show you that if you're not popular out of the gate, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Kick, they will not allow it to happen. They won't. They'll stop you. They'll say at one point, nope, you've hit your ceiling. You got to wait. And then you wait and you wait and you lose subscribers and you lose views. They even took my gaming channel down for something I did not do. And I'm not the only one that YouTube's done this to. Not the only one. They take your channel down claiming that you have scammed, spammed, or used false titles. I'm thinking, wait a minute, false titles? How many of your popular channels lie flat out on their titles? How many of your popular channels use artificial intelligence to make thumbnails that look like the modern day movie star screaming at whatever and talk about how they went all off on the fans and talk about how they didn't like the fans and blah, blah, blah because of negative this, that, and the other thing, and you look it up and it never happened. They're not getting suspended. They're not getting their videos deleted. Why not? Because they can afford to not have that. But somebody like me, some poor nobody with just an extraordinary amount of ability, me, I'm the one that they attacked. They took my channel down, deleted my videos and everything like that. And then when I went at them with my request for them to review this, they within a few hours apologized and allowed me my channel back. And that was a mistake. You bet your ass it was a mistake because I've never given anyone a false. Unless you want to say that my video when I was playing through that very mediocre attempt at a movie from Sony Exclusives that they called Horizon Zero Dawn, There was one place that was called the Cauldron, and the only thing I could think in my head was Krusty the Clown yelling out, "Sex Cauldron!" I thought they shut that place down, so I made that the title. There was no Sex Cauldron. So I guess you can blame it. Now, all the sexual-like titles of the fairy tale game, yeah, no, those were real. Those were real. They just did bikinis instead of undergarments. Especially in places like Japan, the bikinis are a little bit more revealing than the undergarments, but whatever. One of my friends posted a picture one time as a meme of a young woman in a string bikini just hanging out like it was no big deal. And then in her brassiere and jeans, like covering the camera and kicking out. It's like, what's the difference? There's a difference, okay? But anyway, so that was what I was talking about today. As I was mentioning earlier, I'm going to keep doing my thing. I'm going to keep doing my thing. I'm old, I'm bitter, and I'm angry, and I'm tired. And I don't know. I'm writing another novel. As I said, this is going to be my 7th novel. It's going to be up on Kindle Publish when I'm done. I don't know if it's going to be 400 pages or 300 pages like the other ones have been, but it's something that is about this social media, how people like me, or even a little bit lesser, I don't know if you could be lesser in terms of income or your overall social value or whatever, but well, not if you can watch it on a computer or on your phone, probably not. But people that are above me to a point where they're not the elites or the 10 percenters, as I call them, the 7+ figure salary types, and then of course the multi-billionaires, the 1 percenters, they have this ungodly fascination, this idol worship that is also making a mess of society now more so than ever. And they just believe that nobody that has a lot of viewers could possibly be lying to them. Well, it happens. I've been as honest as I can be with you guys for the past 16 years. And as I said last week, every one of you that have been through this with me, every one of you that has been through this with me, I'm not going to ruin pluralization like everybody else that does this. God almighty. That's another thing I could probably, maybe next week, the pluralization thing, because it's bad enough that we have all these syntax errors in English as it is from these popular channels and everything. But the pluralization is one that, look, English is a tough language. I get it, but you should know. Anyway, so for all of you that have been through all of this with me all these years, I appreciate it, and I'm not going away, okay? It's like what I say at work. I'm like a rash. You can't get rid of me. I just want to know, how can I get past this without having to spend money? Or maybe too much money. I do want to get a new mic. The camera is fine. I'm not doing anything with this camera. This camera is great. Love this camera. This has got to get updated or upgraded a little bit. But maybe next week I'll complain about online competitive games, because usually by now I've just finished my competitive run on Overwatch 2. Look, that used to be a good game. Then Blizzard screwed it up. My friend, Sydney Friend Scott from Soothflex Music, loves it. I play with him when I can. I need that competitive edge. I need to compete in something. But God, you kids suck at video games. I'm sorry. Especially you PC guys. You are the fucking worst. Ugh. No wonder why you guys love all these Sony exclusive movie games. Because you don't want to play real games. Anything that elicits strategy, you're brain dead to. But like I said, I'll be done with my session with that shit when I start doing the stream next week. That is something, yes, I would love to talk to you guys about. And I will have more videos here. I am going to make this a premium channel, I believe, because I want to be able to download at least my videos so I can make more videos. There's so much, folks. There's so much to talk about here that all you got to do is go on your YouTube channel and watch for 1 second on your homepage, scroll down for a bit, and you'll see a million people with stuff like why this game's a masterpiece and whatever. There are games I want to break down because I did a lot of overrated series. I want to break down games and explain to you exactly why. As somebody who's been playing video games for 40 years, as a fringe enjoyment, I used to go out, I used to hang out with my friends, I used to play baseball, basketball, football, sports, running, being active. If I stopped eating ice cream when I was a kid, I would have been in much better shape. But we didn't have that much money. We found new ways to entertain ourselves. It wasn't just playing Nintendo. And I didn't have a gaming PC when I was a kid either. So I didn't brood in my dark room with my angst, complaining about the nothingness of life while destroying and eviscerating everything in front of me with either Gears of War or Doom or Quake or whatever. I played Nintendo games. I played Super Nintendo games, Capcom games. These were innovative. These were fun. And they're still being copied to this day. So those are the best games. People that think that the gaming industry started in 2000, kids, I pity you because you have no idea what real video games were. None. The video game industry was so much better in the 80s. So much better. This is nothing, just because I'm an old fart, I'm not trying to say things were better in the 80s, because trust me. Well, things were better than now in the 80s, but it's not saying anything because now we're at the behest of rich people that just want to buy everything and use analytics to prove to you, no, it's great. No, it sucks. Everything you have now sucks. That's why you have to turn to Marvel. I'm going to say this for the 10 billionth time. You got to go to Marvel and get a real movie or something close to it. Sorry to tell you that, kids. But, everything sucks now. So it was better in the 80s, but it's not saying that it was great. Especially not the music. Music now is just noise, but 80s music, just men crying. Trust me, you weren't missing anything if you weren't born then for that. But video games, because they were Japanese-centric, I couldn't even recall if there was a non-Japanese development company back then. I'm sure there were. But typically you had the weird English translations, or you had the characters that would pop up, the Japanese characters, and you go, what is that? Because I wasn't as cultured as I am now. Back then I was just a stupid kid. Now I'm just a not-so-stupid old man. But those games were so much better. They were so much better. So I do want to get deeper into those. I just don't feel comfortable using these weird online video ripper websites. Whenever your computer keeps telling you that there's a problem with a link and you get all those weird ad things popping up. And I use this on Mozilla. Mozilla is awful. It's just awful in every way. So I would prefer doing it the right way, which is downloading it. But anyway, folks, that is today's Friday live stream. We're going to do this again next week. As I said, most likely I'm going to be burning hot from another very unsuccessful session of Overwatch 2 online competitive. So I'm probably going to explain to all of you children how you don't play the game, how you're so bad at the game, how you suck at it, you suck at strategy. But we'll wait till next week for that. Thank you all for watching. I have more for you soon to come. Stay tuned. Take care and have a great day. And oh, by the way, like and subscribe because they tell you to say that. You have to tell them to do that. And I do, and it doesn't make any difference. Till next time, folks.